When astronomers quietly logged a new interstellar object in July 2025, nobody paid much attention. It was the third of its kind ever spotted, a lone traveler drifting through our solar system, heading nowhere in particular. Just another cosmic rock on a one-way journey through the void. But then the James Webb Space Telescope pointed its eye at it, and nothing was ever quite the same again. What Webb saw wasn't the behavior of dead ice and dust. Deep inside this object, now called 3I Atlas, something was glowing. Not randomly, not chaotically. It pulsed, steady, rhythmic, like a heartbeat buried in stone. And the more scientists watched, the stranger things became. Brightness levels climbed far beyond what any model predicted. Thermal energy radiated from within the core, not from the sunlit surface. Then came the radio signals, repeating pulses, eerily precise. And then, the moment that made jaws drop in observatories around the world, the object changed course. Not due to gravity, not due to a collision, it steered. Something out there, hurtling through our solar system, appeared to be making decisions. But what kind of object moves with purpose in the dark? That question was just the beginning. The James Webb team was reviewing infrared data when one detail refused to go away. Every other interstellar visitor humanity had ever tracked dimmed and brightened unpredictably, spinning, venting gas, catching sunlight at odd angles. Not 3I Atlas. Its glow stayed eerily constant, and its core emitted heat in a perfectly timed 4-hour cycle, completely unaffected by how far it was from the sun or which way it was spinning. Geologists had no framework for this. It didn't match rotation patterns, solar wind effects, or any known natural rhythm. Officially, scientists called it a thermal anomaly, but behind closed doors, some started using a different word entirely: heartbeat, because that's exactly what it sounded like. Slow, deliberate, mechanical, like something deep inside that object was breathing. Radio astronomers decided they needed a closer listen. Dishes across the globe swiveled toward 3I Atlas, from California to South Africa. For days, nothing but static. Then the Allen telescope array picked up something faint but unmistakable. A narrow band signal pulsing every 4 hours, perfectly synchronized with those thermal surges Webb had already detected. Skeptics pushed back hard. Could it be interference? Background noise? Equipment error? But weeks passed, and the signal didn't waver. It didn't drift. It didn't fade. And here's where things get deeply unsettling. The signal adapted. It showed tiny shifts that aligned precisely with fluctuations in the solar wind, as if something was actively adjusting its broadcast to compensate for changing conditions. No known natural source does that. Fourier analysis confirmed it. A Hoa, stable carrier wave, mathematically clean, unlike anything ever recorded in space. Scientists tried matching it against pulsars, neutron stars, cosmic background radiation. Every test came back empty. Then someone proposed sending a reply. Prime numbers, periodic table elements, basic mathematical constants, the kind of universal language we'd theorized aliens might recognize. 72 hours later, a response arrived, distorted, faint, but precisely on schedule. Something had heard us, and something had written back. On August 18th, Webb caught a sudden explosion of energy from 3I Atlas, brightness surging over 40% in under an hour. No comet behaves that way, but the energy burst wasn't even the most alarming part. When orbital analysts recalculated the object's path, they found it had shifted. Subtly but without question, it had moved closer to the inner solar system, nudging itself into better alignment with the ecliptic plane, the flat disk where Earth and the other inner planets orbit. European Space Agency modelers tried every natural explanation: outgassing, pressure jets, asymmetric venting. None of the numbers worked. The force required to pull off that maneuver was orders of magnitude greater than any natural process could provide. And the timing was impossible to ignore. The energy flare and the course change happened simultaneously, as if one triggered the other. No comet, asteroid, or interstellar object has ever redirected itself with intent. Until now. Whatever was aboard 3i Atlas had just made its first deliberate move. And it made that move right after we said hello. With the object now behaving like nothing in the known catalogue, spectroscopic teams raced to analyze what it was actually made of. The group at Johns Hopkins, led by researcher Carrie Liss, began pulling apart every wavelength Webb could deliver. What they found multiplied the mystery tenfold. Yes, there was water ice, CO2, carbon, ordinary enough. But layered over all of it were absorption signatures no one had ever recorded. Some matched metallic alloys, rare earth elements used in advanced manufacturing right here on Earth. Others pointed to quantum materials that exist only in theoretical physics papers, things we've imagined but never built. And then there were the infrared reflections that mimicked metamaterials, engineered substances designed to bend light, the same class of material used in stealth technology. These weren't random compounds thrown together by cosmic chance. They were structured, precisely intentionally structured at the molecular level. 3i Atlas wasn't just active and responsive. It was built, constructed with a sophistication that surpassed anything humanity has ever produced. So the question shifted entirely. Not what is this object, but who made it, and what are they trying to accomplish? Researchers at Caltech began passively mapping the object across multiple wavelengths simultaneously, hunting for structural resonance, the way a room echoes differently from solid rock. What they found shook the community to its foundations. The entire mass of 3i Atlas was behaving like a resonance chamber. A low-frequency hum reverberated across the microwave and X-band spectrum at regular intervals, echoing back to Earth with a consistency that ruled out coincidence. But then analysts did something unusual. They reversed the signal, slowed it down, and overlaid it against a sonogram of human speech. The result was patterns that resembled language. Not any language on record, but structured, rhythmic, intelligible, in architecture. As if something inside the object had been listening to us and was beginning to mirror back the shape of how we communicate. Some researchers believe 3i Atlas is adapting, learning to speak in a form we might eventually understand. Others reached a darker conclusion. What we're hearing may not be the object talking. It may be something inside it, stirring, waking. Up, getting ready to surface. Fresh infrared imaging from Webb introduced a discovery that stopped rooms cold. Buried inside the thermal map of 3i Atlas was a structure moving. Not randomly, not fluid, but rotating in a perfect spiral. Dense, smooth, and impossibly regular. The motion wasn't reactive to external forces. It was autonomous, spinning steadily on a fixed axis, even as the object itself tumbled freely through space, as if something inside had its own sense of up and down entirely independent of inertia. But it was the geometry that unsettled people most. The spiral's proportions followed the golden ratio, not once, but recursively, at 3 distinct scales. In nature, that pattern appears in living things: the double helix of DNA, the coil of a nautilus, the arms of a galaxy. It has never, not once, appeared in a cold rock from interstellar space. It's the signature of design, of intention, of biology elevated into architecture. And if a golden spiral is turning at the heart of this thing, it may not just be alive. It may be thinking. Shortly after the spiral discovery, a sudden dip in brightness prompted a closer look. High-contrast imaging revealed something nobody had language for. A section of the surface had moved, not crumbled, not fractured, moved, like a panel retracting into a wall. It was rectangular, smooth, reflective, and it slid back to expose a cavity beneath. No comet or asteroid has ever done anything like that, ever. Inside the newly exposed opening, infrared sensors found no gas, no debris, no thermal turbulence. Just cold, engineered stillness, like a chamber designed to stay exactly as it was. And then, almost immediately, something else. The opening had oriented itself toward Earth, not randomly. It was facing us, maintaining that orientation as the object continued on its path, like an eye, like an aim. And from inside that cavity, A second pulse began. Slower, deeper, stronger than the first. A second heartbeat had started. Something else inside 3I Atlas had just woken up. Scientists at NASA's Ames Research Center made one final discovery that reframed everything they thought they understood. Trace compounds in 3I Atlas's emission spectrum matched terrestrial biopolymers, molecules not identical to DNA, but so structurally and functionally similar that they behaved like synthetic stand-ins for organic tissue. Lab-grown hybrid material, designed to imitate life. And these molecules weren't passive. They responded to solar radiation by physically reshaping themselves at the molecular level. Programmable matter, like living circuitry. Humanity has only just begun experimenting with this concept in biotech labs. Yet here it was, already built into an object traveling between the stars. The line between organism and machine dissolves completely inside 3I Atlas. It isn't alive in any way biology textbooks would recognize. It isn't a machine in any way engineering manuals define. It is something else, a vessel, a seed, a message, given physical form. And if that message is beginning to activate, the question is no longer what's inside.